Bill Cosby, Appeals Court, Me Too Judges Attack Defense. Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host Shakaama. I'm Shakaama. Be sure to like the video, click the thumbs up button. The channel is, when I say it's all but dead, I thought it was all but dead before. No, now it's really all but dead. I'm getting 100 views. This is a channel with 72,000 subscribers. I'm getting 100 views, and this is squarely YouTube doing something, but also, if you all watch the entire video, that really helps. If you don't do anything else, watching the entire video is worth gold, okay? And if you have the ads turned on. If you don't have the ads turned on, there's nothing that I need from you. Nothing. You don't have to watch the video. You don't have to click the like button. You don't have to comment. Because you don't matter. YouTube doesn't count you at all. And in fact, it just hurts me. If you don't watch the ads, it just hurts me. So, if you watch the ads, please watch the entire video. I have some t-shirts and stuff, and I have a free Cosby shirt that's in my thing. You can see the bar below, I believe. That's it if you have ads turned on. If you have ads turned on, there is a bar with my store already turned on it. I got that. I was congratulated by YouTube for getting that because I'm one of the few who actually have that. Let's get into this. Do you think that maybe the appeals court is bought and paid for? What if I told you they attacked the Bill Cosby defense lawyers? What if I told you the entire trial should have never been? And that question came out in the appeals. The appeal court judges were clearly against Bill Cosby's defense lawyers. They attacked and attacked and attacked. When they turned to the prosecutor, it was like the heavens opened up and light beamed down around them and birds started chirping. I should have a little chirping noise to show that. Back to the Bill Cosby defense lawyers. How dare you appeal this? The Bill Cosby defense lawyers listed not only a real appeal, but also listed 11 different errors the judge had at trial court. The defense attorneys brought up the fact that the prosecution brought in 40 women, half of whom said they weren't actually assaulted. In fact, half of the ones who said they were assaulted upon cross-examination confessed it was a lie made up to sell newspapers and book deals. Right on the stand. They confessed. Right on the stand. And he was still convicted. Can I get a what? Let me get a what in the comment section. The prosecution said those women were allowed to testify to show prior bad acts. The only problem with that is, under Pennsylvania law allows for evidence of prior bad acts, quote unquote, only in limited cases that show an alleged crime was part of a larger picture, not a mistake, or to rebut defense claims of consent. None of the women testifying had ever gone to the police, submitted any evidence, secured an arrest, gone to trial, and procured a conviction in a court of law. The entire testimony was hearsay, nothing more. To allow the women to testify did absolutely nothing more than prejudice the already prejudiced jury. Did you know the jury was already prejudiced? This was a kangaroo court, bar none. Which is ironic because the same judge and prosecution that allowed testimony that Andrea Constand was a drug user would not allow testimony that Andrea Constand was a drug user and a racist, would prejudice the jury against her and destroy her credibility, since the entire case was based solely on her testimony alone. No evidence, no proof, nothing. Also ironic that the judge and prosecutor wouldn't allow a witness to testify that would show that Andrea Constand confessed that nothing happened and that the entire thing was made up to get money out of Bill Cosby and that the family are flagrant racists who seek to destroy Cosby as revenge against black people, as witnessed as a confession by a close personal friend of the family, who was also not allowed to testify. But the real crux of the appeals court case came when Bill Cosby defense lawyers presented evidence that the former district attorney and prior judge agreed to never prosecute Bill Cosby because there was no evidence to prosecute him on, in exchange for Bill Cosby throwing away his Miranda rights in a civil trial brought by Andrea Constand to get money out of him. And specifically, the former district attorney allowed the civil trial so that Andrea Constand could get money out of Bill Cosby. So the former district attorney is no saint himself. But he saw immediately that there was no case to be had. She had zero evidence. She just came up and said, he did this to me. No evidence, no proof, nothing. And in fact, all of the evidence points to that not being the case. Because she has something like 3,000 text messages, 3,000 phone calls before and after the alleged offense. Her story changes 3 different times. Her parents go to see Bill Cosby in concert. Bill Cosby, they give Bill Cosby a sweater since he loves sweaters. They send him gifts. They give him chocolates and bonbons. And they call him, and they have it's the former district attorney saw immediately that what she was talking about was untrue and unfounded. And in fact, all of the evidence points towards Bill Cosby and Andrea Constand having a full-on relationship. And as a district attorney, he is well experienced with people with relationships coming forth and saying all sorts of manner of things when they get mad at each other. And he didn't want to be a party to that. However, the Bill Cosby defense team asked court, a district attorney, make a bargain that was verbal and then prove that agreement with a signed affidavit and seal the case. And the prosecution had to say, yes, such an agreement would stand. Why was this case brought? How did this case go to trial? How did something like 5 to 12 women be allowed to testify to something that was never brought to trial? Why were witnesses that would destroy the entire case against Cosby not allowed to testify? Why were jury members seen smiling and waving at the prosecution and the accuser and her family? Now, let's look at the 11 errors that the supposed trial judge made. They range from actual illegal tampering, throwing away evidence, not allowing evidence, conflict between both judge and district attorney, being in an actual feud with the former district attorney, whose testimony was also removed from the trial, actual overheard racist remarks by both judge and district attorney referring to black people using the N-word right in the courthouse, tons and tons of constitutional rights violations, civil rights violations, and actual citizen rights violation under Pennsylvania law itself. Court proceedings which were shifted and ignored, which again deprived Bill Cosby of his constitutional and civil rights. This trial was a kangaroo court, the likes America hadn't seen since the 1950s in the Democratic South. These gross proceedings all happened to ensure a conviction on an innocent man, as confessed by the very woman accusing him when she confessed that nothing actually happened to her co-worker, and that this was all a plan to both destroy Cosby and to take his money. The appeals court judges, who were very aggressive with the Bill Cosby defense lawyers, refused to make a decision. In fact, the appeals court judges refused to say that they would even make or when they would make a decision. One thing they cannot do is go against the law. I'm saying that tongue in cheek. If they do, this will be an open and shut case for the Supreme Court. If there was no proof, no evidence, and even a promise based on that lack of evidence by the former district attorney, which signed an affidavit that such a promise was made to not prosecute Bill Cosby, and the current district attorney said that such verbal agreements do in fact stand, then this case will be thrown out by the Supreme Court in seconds. Are you forgetting who's on the Supreme Court? Finally, the 3 to 10 year in jail sentence. That's some unusual punishment too. Well, it's a 3-year sentence, but 10 years max is tacked on if Cosby does not confess to being a predator. So that's what this crazy sentence was about. The judge wants Bill Cosby to confess that he is a predator. Do you see how twisted this entire case is? And how twisted the judge is? I want you to understand under no uncertain terms what's going on here. And it has nothing to do with Cosby doing anything to Andrea Constand. This came out of her own mouth. Forget what happened in trial. This came out of her own mouth. We have former district attorney. We have family friend of years and years and years. We have former co-worker at Temple University actually made her confess as to if something, her ultimatum was, I will go with you if something actually happened. Did anything happen? And she said no, nothing actually happened. It's all made up. I'm trying to get money. That's what this is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, this is America. This is what's going on right now. And this is this Me Too movement. All of the newspapers willingly confessed that this was the first trial of the Me Too era. And they're claiming victory on this. Victory on the trial where they ramrodded a man and then deprived him of all of his constitutional rights, all of his civil rights, and secured a conviction on an accuser who willingly said that nothing actually happened. That gives a black eye to the entire Me Too movement, does it not? Oh, and if you thought something was going on in the Weinstein case, it turns out that a lot of that was thrown out too because the victims, the quote-unquote alleged victims, finally confessed that they had made a deal. And that was the whole thing, that it was a deal to get into the movies. And one of them, one of the lead women who said that something happened, her friend said that he lost all respect for her because now she's a multi-millionaire and can demand $40 million per movie. And it was all because of the deal that she made with Harvey Weinstein. That's what's going on there. You think that that's a Me Too victory? That's not a Me Too victory at all. And a lot of the stuff was thrown out. When push came to shove and upon cross-examination and said what actually happened. Did something happen that you didn't want happen? Or did something happen that you now, after you're a millionaire, regret happened? And the answer is, it's just something that they regretted. It's not something that they didn't consent to, didn't want. It's something that they actually agreed to do. That's why he's not in jail. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Why is Cosby in jail? Because people lied and people connived and people twisted the truth. And another thing, the prosecution, the district attorney in that case, knew Andrea Constant sat on the witness stand and lied. And he's not supposed to allow that to happen. That's a part of his actual duty as district attorney. He should be disbarred, and he should even be go to trial and be convicted and thrown in jail himself. That's how serious that is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just something to take lightly. The woman lied on the witness stand to convict a man. The district attorney knew it. I'm sure the judge knew it too. Thank y'all for watching. Please like the video. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I have a merch store. If just 3 people buy something out of the merch store, and I do have free Bill Cosby t-shirts in there, I then secure a permanent discount in the store. So anybody who from the future gives my code, I'll have a discount. I have to get the discount first. Thank y'all for watching. And the discount won't come out of my pocket. It'll come out of Teespring's pocket. Thank y'all for watching.